Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Tiffany, and today we are continuing our celebration of Academy Award films throughout the years with the 1946 post-war film, The Best Years of Our Lives. So, The Best Years of Our Lives was honored at the 19th Academy Awards in 1947, directed by William Wyler, starring Myrna Loy, Dana Andrews, and Frederick March, with other notable performances by Harold Russell, Teresa Wright, and Virginia Mayo. Okay, now a quick synopsis of the film. It says, Fred, Al, and Homer are three World War II veterans facing difficulties as they re-enter civilian life. Fred, played by Dana Andrews, is a war hero unable to compete with highly skilled workers and has to return to his low-wage soda jerk job. Bank executive Frederick March gets into trouble for offering favorable loans to veterans. And after losing both hands in the war, Homer, played by Harold Russell, returns to his loving fiancée, but must struggle to adjust. So at this point, we are going to be getting into some historical background. For those of you who want to skip right onto the film reaction, go for it. But for those of you who want to stay, we are about to get right into it. So in 1946, Hollywood was experiencing what could only be described as the most profitable year of that decade. Theater attendance was really high. Box office records were being, shattered. It was a really profitable year in Hollywood. And I suspect that's because, again, a lot of war veterans were coming home right after the war. And so a lot of families just really wanted to spend time with the soldiers that were coming back from war. Like I said, soldiers were really trying to reintegrate into society. So this film and all of the themes that it kind of deals with was very fresh during the time that it came out, and I think that that's why it really experienced a lot of popularity and a lot of relatability in society at that time. And so because of that, it was, as I said, honored at the 19th Annual Academy Awards in 1947, and it was nominated for 9 Oscars, and it actually won 8 of the 9 that it was nominated in. So it won Best Motion Picture, Directing, Writing, Film Editing, Actor in a Supporting Role, Best Actor, Music Score of a Dramatic or Comedy Picture, and then a special award, which was awarded to Harold Russell for, quote, bringing hope and courage to his fellow veterans through his appearance in The Best Years of Our Lives. And then it was nominated for sound recording, but it didn't win for sound recording. Okay, so finally, some interesting facts about this film. Wow, I didn't realize how low I look to the ground. Okay, let's try that again. Wow. Okay, so some interesting facts. So this film was produced by Samuel Goldwyn, and it was actually inspired by a true story that he read in a Time feature talking about returning Marines and the struggles that faced them coming back from the war. And then one other really interesting thing I wanted to add is some of the people that actually worked on this film had real experience in combat in World War II, especially Harold Russell, who was a real World War II veteran. He was actually noticed by Goldwyn from an Army film that talked about veterans losing their limbs in combat. So this film is really rooted in the time that it came out, and it meant a lot for different people. So I'm really excited to get into this. But before we do, y'all already know the deal. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification to stay in the loop. All right, everyone, it is time. Please get your snacks, get your drinks, and let's get into The Best Years of Our Lives. Samuel Goldwyn. Did you guys know that Samuel Goldwyn is the G in MGM? Metro Goldwyn Mayor? Is that what it is? Goldwyn. Samuel. Cool. Samuel.
Sarge, what's the chances of a ride to Boone City?
You got orders?
Sure.
Okay. I haven't got anything right now, but if you want to fill this out, I'll call you if anything comes up.
I feel so bad already for these men who have been fighting in this war for 4 years at this point? Give or take. All they want to do is get home to their families, and there's no orders in place, or there's no nobody took the time to schedule this out for these men. Like, hey, we have some soldiers coming, let's get them on their planes and go home. No, after they just fought for their country for 4 years. I feel like that's not cool, bro. Not cool at all.
Got a call from base ops. There's a B-17 taking off for Boone City.
All I know is there was a lot of fire and explosions, and when I came to, I was on a cruiser. My hands were off.
Whether this be, you know, scripted or just knowing that he's like an actual veteran that had to go through this and had to experience this, it would have been so profound, such a profound experience. And I just feel like at this point, you can tell the way he's like looking and the way he's listening to his story or his character's story, it just looks like he's really in this moment. It's not like he's acting through it. Like he's really in this moment with him. And I really appreciate that as an audience member because it feels so already so real, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to note on that. I thought that was really cool.
All I want's a good job, a mild future, and a little house big enough for me and my wife. Give me that much and I'm rehabilitated like that.
Well, I'd say that's not too much to ask.
Yeah, wow, I'm already understanding the gravity of what some of these soldiers had to go through coming back from experiencing war, you know, and in terms of just like certain things that they've lost, whether that be, you know, physical parts of themselves or mental parts of themselves, and then having to re-assimilate into a society that what it looks like from this film is already not really catering to them and not really giving them all of the resources they need to kind of, you know, reintroduce themselves into this society. So I'm already seeing that struggle and what that's going to be like. And then I'm really interested to see Homer and how his girl really reacts to his situation and what goes on there. Like, I'm really interested to see these stories unfold for sure.
This is my street. I wonder if Wilma's home. Say, how about the three of us going back to Butcher's place? We'll have a couple of drinks and then we can go home.
You're home now, kid.
Almost like he's not ready to face whatever it is that he's walking home to, you know? Or even face what has happened to him in the past. That's deep. What a sweet moment, because I know a lot of these families didn't get this chance to... Oh my God, I'm already going to start crying. No, I'm not. These families didn't get a chance to say goodbye to their loved ones that they lost during the war. And so to be able to have this moment must have been so precious to this family. But then also being able to see that as an audience member in 1946, and then also having that experience in real life must have been something to really cherish and treasure, because a lot of families did not have that opportunity. And so it's like I'm getting choked up because I'm like, it's warming it's a heartwarming moment.
Just whom do you wish to see?
Mrs. Stevenson. I'm her husband. You're
Mr. Stevenson?
Sergeant Stevenson.
Ooh.
What'd you expect, a 4-star general? Fourth floor.
Through this film, I'm seeing like real emotion and real like feelings being felt in this moment. And it's something to me that's very different than what I've seen in some of these films. It's like real emotion that these actors are feeling in the scene. It's not like, it doesn't feel doctored. It feels like something you would see coming from like Leo DiCaprio or like Meryl Streep. Like, it feels really natural and very real.
Where's Mom?
Oh, that's his son. Daughter, maybe? Son and daughter? Man, this must be so difficult. Because I feel like there's a sense of like nostalgia for wanting to go back to, you know, what you remembered and what life you had before the war, but then also going back knowing that it's changed you in some way, knowing that it has altered your perception of life, and then how that affects your relationships from your past. Like, all of that must have been so, it just feels so heavy. Like, there's so much to consider in terms of coming back from war. And I'm sure that still happens today. Wow, it's really heavy stuff that we're dealing with in this movie.
Well, have you got anything to say to your own son?
Glad to see you, my boy.
Look at him, Pat. Look at your hero son.
I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, there's just so much excitement for when they all come home. But then I'm remembering, wait a second, they didn't have, they couldn't just get onto their iPhone and be like, oh, by the way, war's over, I'm coming home now. It was very much like a kind of a waiting game. So that's why there's so much excitement in the moment to see their loved one come back from war. And that's something that I didn't think about until just now, which makes it even more not intense, but the moment of meeting so much more enjoyable and so much more excitable for some of these people going through it. Because they didn't know if their soldier or if their loved one was coming home until they physically saw them, So that's something that you don't think about,
I don't recognize them. They've grown so old.
I tried to stop them, to keep them just as they were when you left, but they got away from me.
Man, this must be like, he's really coming back to a family that's changed, or almost like he's lost so much time with his family because of, fighting in the war, that it's almost like it's not the same family that he's coming back to. And so he has to kind of relearn, or learn more about his children and his wife. And I just feel like that's something that again would be so difficult to kind of come back to, especially living a life full of, having to fight in all these different battles and all, just seeing all this death and carnage, and then coming back to like what you had before. Man, it just must have been so difficult to do. Like I don't know how they did it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mom.
Oh, that's quite all right. Wilma will hold it for you.
No, thanks. If you don't mind, I think I'll go out and walk around a bit.
I do love, though, how Homer doesn't let anyone do something for him. Like, he does it for himself. And I think that's more for him to say, even though I've lost a part of me, I'm still able to do things for myself. I don't need the pity. I don't need the sad looks. Like, I can still do things for myself and live for myself,
Hey, that's all. Oh, I hear you got a new neon sign, huh? Good for you, huh? Now the party can really get started, eh?
I feel like there's a twinge of sadness in Al's character.
Why don't they understand that all I want is to be treated like everybody else?
Your folks will get used to you, and you'll get used to them. And everything will settle down nicely.
Yeah, I think it's all just about time. They all just need time to navigate this new world, navigate these new occurrences and understand each other after this huge event. I think that's what needs to happen, but we'll see.
Going down. There you guys
He's having PTSD.
Get out of there, bail out.
Go back to sleep. Go back to sleep.
And I don't think back in the 40s that was like a thing. I don't think that, or at least, I mean, it still occurred, but I don't think it was like a diagnosable issue, like mental health issue. So I feel like I'm going to prepare myself for this scene. Oh my goodness. That was a really, really tender moment. Wow. It was intense and it was tender.
That's all right, but...
I know. You're about to say, where am I? I'll tell you later, Fred. You can sleep as long as you want.
Okay, I definitely ship this couple. I want them to fall in love. I'm just saying.
You didn't bother anybody, Fred. We're very glad to have you here. Besides, you couldn't have got a room in a hotel.
Those eggs are a little mushy. So like I was talking about in the last video, the apartment, I think because Hollywood was going through a change during this time, from the 30s, we see a lot of high life, like witty comedy, things that make people happy because, again, during the 1930s, there was a lot of devastation with the Great Depression. And now in the 40s, we're still seeing some of that witty dialogue, but it's rooted in more of a modern, there's more of a modernism to it. And I suspect that's also because of now we're coming out of the war and we're not really in need of like high life situation. We're in need of a different type of morale boosting at this point. And you can feel it, or you can tell in the dialogue and in the interactions between the characters. And I think that's one thing that I'm now really starting to love about these older films, is just how much you get to see cinema changing and molding for the time that it's in. Like, it needed to be this style in order to sustain its audience in the 40s. And I love seeing that. It's the second time now that I'm seeing that in these films. And I appreciate it. And then the other thing I was going to say, like I said, with the whole modern talk, it really feels like this film has a modern feel to it. And I talk about that a lot because one of the things that I was really hesitant about when I started going into classic films is that it would be so far removed from the type of life we live now, and that all of the things that we deal with are not things that they deal with, and it just feels so foreign. But as I continue to watch more of these films and discover more of these films, there is really a familiarity in them. It doesn't feel as foreign as we might think. Like, they really have, it's just something so special. It feels familiar, but it also feels like you're watching a piece of history. And that's just one of the things that I really love about these films. I know I kind of went on a tangent there, but that's kind of what I'm getting just from this scene alone. And I just love it. This is a good movie so far. Oh. Did he not realize that he was wearing clothes?
I guess after all the places you've been, Boone City looks pretty dreary to you.
Not from where I'm sitting right now.
That was a good line.
You know, I had a dream. I dreamt I was home. I've had that same dream hundreds of times before. This time I wanted to find out if it's really true.
That's what he was going through. See, I'm thinking it's like he's still kind of foggy from the night before, but he was experiencing, like, asking himself, is this real? And that's probably why he got in the shower with all of his clothes on, because he's realizing that this is not a dream, that he's really here. Like, it's the thing he's wanted for so long, and it's finally here. Wow. I didn't think about that. Oh, but he was about to go back to the car.
Bye.
Girl, you know you like him. Mm-hmm. Okay, I need to know the situation between Fred and his wife. Like, what is going on there? And why wasn't she at his parents' house when he got home? I want to know what happened. Oh my god, okay, here we go. I've been waiting for this moment.
Hiya, babe.
You were looking for me, honey?
I was looking for my wife.
Oh, you found her now.
Okay, we got 2 kisses. I'm not mad at it. All right.
Mr. Milton.
He's called up every day this week to see if you got home. I guess they want you back at the bank. You don't seem very happy about it.
I'm not.
Why not, darling?
I can't help thinking about the other guys.
I wanted to say, Myrna Loy, this is the first time I've ever seen her in a film. I've never seen her act in a film. But I do know, just because a lot of you recommend The Thin Man, which we are watching in a future video, I know that she's in that. But I can tell in her dialogue, in the way that she's acting, that she was an actor in the 1930s, just by what she's bringing to the dialogue of her character. There's like a wittiness to her, but then there's also like a soft charm, and it's all kind of working together to create this character of Millie, and I really, really like her character.
But while in the Army, did you have any experience in procurement?
No.
Purchasing of supplies, materials?
No, I didn't do any of that. I just dropped bombs.
Did you do any personnel work?
No.
I feel like this film really does bring up an issue that is very present in today's time. Like, I feel like the way that that it's set up is, I feel like it's not easy to find a job after you've left your service in the military. I don't know. This film just feels like it's really showing us like there needs to be more programs in place or more opportunities for veterans who are coming home to find jobs. Because I know that's one thing that still is a thing today. So I don't know if that's controversial. I'm not trying to be controversial. That's just what I'm noticing through this film.
When we go out tonight, will you wear a uniform?
Oh, no.
For my sake.
Oh, I'm
honey,
sorry,
you look
baby.
So
No,
handsome, and I'd be so proud to be out with you. Won't you please?
As much as I love them, I still kind of like him. I still like Fred and Peggy together. And I don't know how that dynamic is going to work throughout the film.
You wrote me that when you got home, you and I were going to be married. I was in love with you when you left, and I'm in love with you now.
I'll show you. Take a good look.
What I was thinking as I was watching this is maybe he hasn't had time to really grieve, you know, the loss of his hands, the loss of a part of him, you know. Once he lost his hands, they immediately gave him, you know, his hooks and taught him how to use them so he can, you know, keep going with what he needed to do. And now, since he doesn't have something to preoccupy his mind with, he has to come into the full reality that this is my life now. I have to somehow continue in this society that is telling me that I'm different from others because I've lost a part of myself, you know? And I just think that this is him really grasping that.
Yeah? Okay, Pop, I'm going to bed now.
Be right with you, Homer.
I love how they kept the camera on him to really show how he's feeling in this moment of almost like needing help in this moment. But I love how they decided to keep the camera on him because we got to see a little bit more about what he's feeling during this moment. And I just like that they decided to do that.
We're eating at home.
What's the matter, honey? You sick or something?
No, dear. Broke. I didn't tell you the money was almost gone because every day I kept hoping I was going to land a good job.
I wish that they would have given more opportunity while these men were in the military to learn more of the trades, you know, like, or just get more education on certain jobs, like, you know, financial jobs or, you know, more of the, like the working, like the labor jobs, you know. I wish they would have given them more of an opportunity to learn those skills so that when they leave their service, now they have something that they can kind of fall back on, you know, versus just kind of throwing them out into the world and saying good luck. I just feel like I wish that at least in this time they would have prepared them more for what they were about to step into.
Are you really all right? I mean, in your mind.
Can't you get those things out of your system?
Oh, sure.
Maybe that's what's holding you back. You know, the war's over. You won't get any place till you stop thinking about it.
Hi everyone, Editing Mia here. Just wanted to come on really quick and talk about this scene and how it really shows us how mental health was depicted in the 1940s. So earlier we saw how Peggy kind of helped Fred through his night terrors, and now we're seeing Marie kind of address Fred's night terrors again. And even though both women dealt with it differently, there was kind of a similarity. It was sort of like, let's keep this hush hush, or let's put your mind elsewhere. Let's not talk about what's really troubling you. There was no action plan of how to deal with these emotions and how to deal with basically this PTSD. There was no action plan of how to deal with it. But it shows you that at the time, there wasn't, you know, a whole lot of resources to kind of help people in general just through mental health issues. Because I think at that time it was thought of as a negative thing, or it was frowned upon to ask for help for mental health. And we definitely see that in both of their characters. I just thought that was really interesting to note on, just because, again, it gives us a little piece of history. It gives us a little look into what life might have been like for people struggling with mental health issues in the 1940s.
Got my eye on a fine piece of property. Feels my right. At least that's what I've been told by other ex-servicemen.
You'll get your loan.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
I feel like there was definitely a different vibe, like after the war, in terms of people who lived through it and just how they kind of saw each other afterward. I definitely feel like there was more of a, I guess, empathy for each other and just what was going on during that time. They have shared experiences. And so these people were able to understand each other and be more compassionate towards each other. And I think that that's what they're trying to convey in Al's story.
What else did you think you wouldn't do when you were overseas?
I think I was going to have my own home.
You don't have to be overseas to have dreams like that.
You can get crazy ideas right here at home.
I love how how their chemistry is developing and their love story is developing. It feels like, I say this so much, y'all. I know it sounds redundant, but I will never stop saying it. It feels so modern. Something you would see in a film coming from today. Like, and my mind is just blown because, like I said, this is not something that you think of when you think of classic era Hollywood films. You think of like something from a different time, but this really feels like something I'd be watching today, you know, in terms of their love story, but then also the interwoven stories all together. Like, I just love the way that they're developing these two characters and their dynamic. It feels so modern. And I absolutely love it. I'm here for it. I completely ship their characters, and I hope they end up together. Oh my God, but you're married, sir.
That shouldn't have happened.
What?
But I guess it had to.
What do you do after that? Oh my God. He's like, sir, you are married. Why are you kissing me, sir?
We're going out to dinner at the Embassy Club.
Who invited us?
Miss Peggy Stevenson.
Oh my God, Peggy invited them to dinner!
Well, if that's it, you better get used to it, because I don't see how we're going to get much fun on your $32.50 a week.
Ooh, that was a low blow, bro. A low blow, bro.
You're afraid I may be in love with Fred.
Well, are you?
Are you in love with him? Yes.
Yes!
But I don't want to be.
No! I feel like that's just gonna hurt her more. Seeing him with his wife is just gonna hurt her more. Yeah, just gonna hurt her more. I think that she should just not see them. I mean, I'm happy that she's in love, but I'm sad that it's with a married man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we greet our friend, our co-worker, our hero, Al Stevenson.
I feel like this banker dude is really just saving face, because in public he's like honoring our veterans and distinguished and all these vocabulary that makes him look good, right? But behind closed doors he's like, hey, but you know, we honor our veterans, but let us not forget that XYZ, or let us not forget that this isn't our money that we're dealing with. Like, he's really saving face, and it's kind of pissing me off. I don't like it.
Perhaps it'd be a good idea if you just put that bottle right down here in front of me. Save yourself quite a number of trips.
Good old Al.
Oh, she's marking the amount of times he's been drinking. Wow, this film is really dealing with some heavy themes that are still very prevalent in today's society. And so far, this film is really holding up. It doesn't feel like it's out of date. It feels very, like it's definitely holding up through time. And I really like that they're dealing with some of these heavy themes. Very much so.
The knowledge I acquired in the good old bank, I applied to my problems in the infantry. For instance, one day in Okinawa, a major comes up to me and he says, "You and your platoon will attack said hill and take it. No collateral, no hill." And we lost the war.
So that's why he gave the man the loan. He threw out collateral because when he used collateral during wartime, or that kind of mental process, it didn't hold up for him, and he ended up risking something and failing. And so I think that's why, one of the reasons why he decided to give that man the loan. That makes so much sense.
What's wrong with their marriage?
They just don't like each other.
Look at, why didn't they create like space for a dance floor? I don't know why that's what I'm focused on, but like There's literally no room to move in this small room. They should have, like, moved the tables and, like, made more room for a dance floor, because everyone's just on top of each other. Oh my gosh. It's stressing me out.
I'm going to break that marriage up.
Okay, Queen.
I can't stand it seeing Fred tied to a woman he doesn't love.
Again, these characters are not polished, cut, clean, you know, like cookie cutter characters. They are human beings. The more I realize this in these films, in a way, it's almost making me feel like, this sounds so stupid, but it makes me feel like a better actor, understanding these types of characters and how to portray them. These characters are so human, and they feel so human. They don't feel like cookie cutter characters. And for some reason, I feel like that's helping me to understand how to really see these characters as humans and how to really empathize with them. And as an actor, how to play them as they are. I just love seeing these. And I'm saying that because I also noticed that in The Apartment. It's just like an aha moment. Like my brain just exploded.
What's on your mind, Al? Want to borrow some money or something?
Oh, he's got real serious.
Called you to ask you a question.
Look at this lighting.
Okay.
I'm living for it.
Shoot.
You see how they're utilizing lighting to kind of show, like, it almost seems like an interrogation, but also it's kind of showing almost isolation of the two characters. Absolutely love that.
Are you in love with Peggy?
Tread carefully, sir.
Yes. But I don't like the idea of you sneaking around corners to see Peggy.
Wow, they are staring each other down and the camera is at eye level. And it's like two opposing forces. It's like it kind of reminds me of like a war right now. Like, I love the way that they decided to shoot this scene. It feels like something's about to go down. And I like that.
I give you a fair warning. I'm going to do everything I can to keep her away from you. To help her forget about you and get her married to some decent guy who can make her happy.
All that eye contact. I love it. I feel I'm getting so aggressive.
Who was it? Fred said it wouldn't be fair to his wife for us to see each other anymore because I'm obviously the kind of girl that takes these things too seriously.
He should not have let her down like that. But then, at the same time, yeah, I get it. All right, I get it.
What about a ham and cheese on whole wheat? Without any mustard?
Ham and cheese, Doc. Save the mustard. Coming up.
Like, you come back from fighting for your country to working a minimum wage job. Like, you don't even have, like, you can't even, I just feel like that's such an issue. Like, that's such a problem. And it makes me feel so deeply sad for him.
We bought the wrong people, that's all. I'm not selling anything but plain old-fashioned Americanism.
Some
Americanism.
Oh, my God. We're all a bunch of suckers, eh?
This movie is... Guys, I don't even know what to say about this movie right now. It is absolutely so relevant to what's going on right now. And that is where I'm going to leave it at. Very relevant.
Take your hands over there.
Oh, he just lost it. He just lost his job. Oh my God. That scene alone just made this movie a 10 for me. Man, that was intense, bro. Wow.
My family want me to go away.
Maybe that's a good idea, woman.
No.
Maybe you ought to do that.
It's not a good idea. It's not.
Do you want to get rid of me?
Bro, if you don't tell her that you are in love with her and you want her to stay...
I want you to come up and see for yourself what happens. But I can't button them up.
I'll do that, Homer.
Look at her. She loves you, Homer. She's a keeper, y'all. She is a keeper.
I know what to say, Homer. I love you. And I'm never going to leave you. Never.
I'm glad that she was able to show him her love for him, you know? Instead of just saying it, because I feel like he really needed to see that she is willing to stay with him, even though he's lost his hands and and he's going to have a different time in the world, she's still willing to be by his side and still willing to love him through it. And I love that she was able to show him that. It was just such a beautiful moment.
I'm gonna get a divorce. What have you got to say to that?
Thank God. One thing that we can take away from this film, as we are in 2021, is it really reminds me of what we as a world, as a world are going through with COVID-19. Everyone has a different story to tell. And I think about this in like 50 years. Everyone's going to have a different story to tell. Everyone was going through something different during this time. But we all have this shared experience of this event, which reminds me of this film and World War II. These men are going through very different things in their life, but they all have this shared experience, and it's something that they're never going to forget. And that's how I feel about how we're going to look back on COVID-19. And that's why I feel like it feels so current. We are dealing with it and processing it and kind of coming back from it differently. And I just think that that's definitely something that we can take away from this film as viewers in 2021. Ooh, look at the way he just lifted himself up in there. In a way, this airplane is kind of like Fred, where it was used in war and used in battle, and when they were finished with it, they dropped it off and basically let it sit in a graveyard to just sit. They didn't prepare it for anything. They weren't going to use it for anything else. They just when they were done with it, they basically just threw it back out, And I feel like that's kind of reminiscent of what Fred is going through in terms of he was a decorated war veteran, and when he was done with his service, they threw him back into the real world and expected him to just pick up the pieces. They didn't prepare him for that. And I feel like that this plane is very reminiscent of what his character is going through right now,
You're the junk man.
This is no junk. We're using this material for building prefabricated houses. Hey, Gus? Yes? See if you think this guy can be of any use to us.
What we originally thought, or at least what I thought, was that Fred's life was pretty much he was just being thrown out into the wild to fend for himself, much like the airplane being thrown out. But then this man comes and he's like, oh, no. We're not throwing away the airplanes. We're giving it another use. And then they gave him a job. But do you see how the plane still kind of symbolizes Fred in that moment? That's deep right there. I didn't think of that until just now. That's wild.
Homer, wilt thou have this woman to thy wedded wife?
I will.
Wilma, wilt thou have this man to thy wedded husband?
I will.
Geez, if I didn't know any better, this would be a real wedding ceremony. They're looking at each other lovingly, like they're in love with each other. Am I even watching a fictional film anymore? Or am I watching like a home video at this point? Because their chemistry is on point.
And have declared the same by giving and receiving a ring, and by joining hands. I pronounce that they are man and wife.
Yay! Oh my God, I just attended a wedding I didn't even know I was invited to, and I love it.
You'll have to work to kick around.
I don't care. Oh, yes. So good. That was such a good film, everyone. Oh my goodness. Wow. Where to start? I know I talk about this a lot, but I'm really starting to see how modern these films really feel. There was just it held up in time. There are still themes that are so relevant to our time now. They touched PTSD, they touched alcoholism, they touched amputees and what they have to go through. And then there's just this parallel in this film, like I said, of what we're dealing with now in COVID, and how we have this shared experience, but we're all experiencing it differently, which I found to be so profound, and something that that allows this film to really hold up in time. The characters were so they were so dynamic. They were very human. There was nothing cookie cutter and safe about them. They were so enjoyable to watch. The storyline, the storyline of all the 3 different stories woven into one movie was so unique. I hadn't seen it before done in a classic film. It was so beautifully executed, so smooth. And yeah, I really felt like if I were watching this in 1946, a lot of it was just a very real film. I don't know how better to explain it. I understand why it was so popular, because it was something so relatable that people could relate to, that people could find themselves in. I mean, I've never fought in a war. I've never served for my country, and yet I found myself in the film, which I can't say for a lot of films. So I really appreciated that about this film. I'm going to have to give this one a 10 as well. I've just been throwing the 10s out recently, but y'all have been recommending some really good films, and this one was a really good one. Absolutely loved it. Thank you to all of you who recommended it. All right, everyone, that does it for this video. As always, if you liked it as much as I did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification to stay in the loop. All right, everyone. So in the next video, we are going to be watching a film that was originally planned for our Film Noir month, but because I saw it come up so much in the comments for this month, and also just because I was so eager to watch it, I decided, what the heck, let's watch it for the next movie. So in the next video, we are going to be watching Carol Reed's 1949 film, The Third Man. And I'm so excited to watch this film with all of you. I have not seen it yet. And also, I think this is the first film noir movie that we're watching on this channel. So I'm really excited to see that. So, as always, please go check out the movie either in its entirety, or if you want to read a quick synopsis, and then come back with all of your movie insights and your movie facts, and we are going to talk about it in the comments. I'm so excited. When you get a chance, just check out that discussion tab. I always post on there just in case there's any updates or any changes to the week's schedule. As always, if you have any suggestions for any classic Hollywood era movies, please let me know in the comment box below. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed to the channel. Thank you to all of you who comment, and just the viewers in general. Thank you so much. As always, please stay safe and healthy out there, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Bye, everybody.